Got me switch pod. I know I
Oh
always say it,
yes.
but the boys are back. This time we're really
Oh
back.
yes.
We're
Oh
back for the
yes.
new
Oh
year.
yes. Yes,
How are you,
sir. Yes,
Chris?
sir. Good as New Year, new me. So I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I guess I'm the same. I guess I'm the same. Even that, I think that's a recurring theme, even in SA rugby. There's some guys that we're really seeing a new side of them. This
Yeah.
side of the new year.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I think, yeah, good to it's you can to the rugby season. There's more rugby now. We're back. We're
And
back.
that's the funny thing. The funny thing for me is that it's a continuation of the season, but it feels like a new season. It feels
Yeah.
like there's so much life added to the game,
Hmm.
in this new year. A lot to get into, a lot to discuss. It's a European week. Sometimes they do feel like international weeks in football. Maybe the
Mm,
excitement isn't as much. Maybe you're looking forward to some URC, but instead you're getting some European action there. I think
yeah.
let's start with the Bulls. Um,
Yeah.
some would say a weakened team, but for me, I feel like it was a balanced team. There were
Yeah.
Bucks in that team.
Mm, mm. No, and I mean we've spoken about the Bulls to say like they're in a good place in terms of
Yeah.
the whole group that they've got, and I mean even you look at some of the guys that have come from other franchises, uh you know from other franchises that they seem they fitting in
Yeah.
seamlessly. They're putting up performances. They're showing some good signs there,
Name
and
them. Name them. It's Kumete
yeah,
and Umkunu.
it's because I feel like Kumete, even when he was at the Sharks, I think he was still, he was still good enough, with that combination with Pepsi there. I kind of I liked him there from even the under 20 days
Yeah.
for the baby box, and I thought, this is going to be a mainstay guy at the Sharks. Nkunu, I won't lie, he surprised me in terms of, I think he's just gotten better being at the Bulls. Gumete is also
I felt
just
it.
getting
I
better.
felt the other way around. And Unu, I
Mm.
always felt like especially when he went to the Cheetahs there, we saw, he's a powerful scrummager. So I thought that is a valuable commodity that you can take
Yeah,
anywhere in SA rugby. A tight head that can, win you
yeah.
penalties at scrum time. Gumete, his ball carrying, I knew
Mm.
of that, but what I'm seeing more now is the steals in at vital times as well.
We're great as well. We're great as
Yeah.
well to get there, and making those passes. He was instrumental in one of those tries, where he got back up to get the ball out. So yeah, but those two aside, just in general, in terms of the Bulls, you have to like the way that they went about it. They're dangerous on
Yeah.
attack. They clear on how they want to play, and they understand the weapons that they have. That's one thing that I like about the Bulls. They understand the weapons that they have, and they're taking full advantage. Where you guys getting
Yeah.
guys like Devin Williams, getting man of the match.
Stepping up.
They
Guys
yeah,
are stepping up. Even Sergio Peterson stepping up. But
yeah,
even that thing of saying it's a weekend side, you've got Volko Low there. You've got Gerard Steenkamp, who was in the box squad. You've got
yeah.
Marcel
Vocalo's also
Coetzee, Elric Low, the
yeah.
Papier. These. So it
Quison.
is a weekend, but not really weekend. There's
Nah,
some heavy hitters there.
it's a
Experience,
strong team.
experienced. It might be weekend, but it's still experienced.
Yeah, yeah, experienced. And I think what I think what's also vital with the Bulls is also the coaching group that they've got together there.
Yeah.
The brains trust. I think they've got a full understanding of in terms of the competitions that they're playing in and what they're trying to achieve. I think they just need 1 point, to get into the round of 16. So yeah, you have to like what they're doing. You see guys like Jan Hendrik Vessels. Now they
Mm.
he's coming through nicely in there at hooker.
And
You're
he
seeing
did. He
what,
struggled early on. He struggled when he was playing prop at hooker.
yeah,
Also, I don't rate him as high a prospect as maybe some other people would, because out of high school he was this this player that they
Yeah.
projected, but in terms of senior rugby, he hasn't shown that on any level except for this game with the
Yeah, he's
dagger
finding his
try
feet.
interception. Yeah, and
Yeah,
this is the statement game where he found his feet for me.
yeah, yeah. It's finding his feet. And look, we forget that he's still, I think he's probably like what, 20, 22, 23, somewhere there. So I think it's the right time finding his feet at a point where we were sort of looking around or trying to understand, where the next hookers are going to come from, to a concern in terms of, where the next hookers are going to come from. We see guys stepping up, so there's him, and then there's Hugo Fenter there at the Stormers, but we'll talk about them a bit later. But yeah, in terms of the Bulls, yeah, man, it's even that physicality. Look at that Ulrich Low try, that's just, you can see he's trying to make to stake a claim, to try to get into the mix, all around balanced performance, balanced team. I think they'll be a bit disappointed in some way where they've been where they let in a few points, a little bit easier, but overall playing away,
that's it.
playing away at Bristol.
Yeah.
And Bristol's not a bad team, if you've seen even in the Premiership, they like to play that attacking rugby, but that's the power of the Bulls. They couldn't live with them. Yeah, fine. There at the end, they were trying to come at them, but it's a little too late. But yeah, man, the Bulls, like we've been saying, since even 2023 when the season started, the Bulls look like they're in a healthy, good place. So I'm liking what they're doing, and yeah, I'm still backing them. To at least get somewhere, especially in Europe,
especially away from home. Vital turnovers, line out steals. That's the name of the game when you're away from home, and guys stepping up, real, even taking conversions. I've seen him jump in a line out. Now he's even taking conversions. So it's all about guys stepping up. Like you said, Devon Williams also stepping up.
They're comfortable with what they want to do. That's one thing. And I think it's one of the things that we call for to say, I think the next thing for the South African teams is the away games, because at home, more often than not, at home, they'll put teams away. Is getting those wins away from home. And, I think this is, it's a good step, especially for the Bulls to show that, listen, it can be done. And yeah, it's exciting to see, what they can do. And you can just hope that they just keep on and keep that pressure on. They just need one more point and lost 16. So
yeah, the ball is rolling there. I think let's go to the Lions, who also played away. I think it was just a bridge too far for them. This was a real weakened team, and congrats to the performance that they put out last time going away from home to France. And I have to say again here, they don't have the same attacking threat as the real starters. Maybe that comes with the lack of game time with each other, but they kept it tight. They did what they could, especially in the first half, but it was just a bridge too far. But again, you have to commend the coaching team, because it's not like they got hammered or anything. I mean, I think at halftime it was 3-0 to the Lions. It was close. They kept it close.
It was close. Yeah, that's the thing. The thing is, I think the Lions from this one, Lucas Montpellier, or they right up there, in terms of the players that they've got, and even in the top 14 and in Europe, they've won things, So for the Lions, I think a bit unlucky. It's a tough loss, one of a few things, that just they needed to go their way, and it's a different game, it's a different game. So I wouldn't be too despondent with that. I think it gives them a clear picture of where they are, and they're not far off. I don't think that they're far off, especially when you look at what they did before away from home. I think it was a week ago or 2 weekends ago, so they've got something. They've got something.
The coaching is coming through. The coaching is coming through. It's showing even with the so-called lesser players, they're still able to keep in touch. And the coaching, like I've always said, Cash is a fraud, but it looks like it's now the business has gone legitimate somehow.
This saying, fake it till you make it, so you know what, look, and again, I still think it's also the guys that they've got around, you know, in terms of the other
Yeah.
coaches, the IP that they've got in there. You can see the Lions are they together in what they're looking to do, you know.
Yeah.
And yes, it definitely a weakened team, you know. And for the team that they put out, that's a result. It's a game that they could have won, you know. Just a few execution errors there where they didn't capitalize when they could have, you know. It could have really put the game. They could have come away with something out of that game, you know, but it was just unfortunate. But it's not too bad, you know. It's not too bad. I wouldn't be crying if I was the Lions.
Yeah, especially with the result before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Against the Sharks. Yeah, let's move on to the Sharks versus Oyonnax. Uh Sharks continue the trend of winning
Yeah.
1 week and then the next week is a crisis. So we're gonna see if it's a crisis this coming week. But
1 week on, 1 week off. That's what they do, you know. Unconvincingly though.
I would say it was convincing. As okay, I'm not a Shark supporter, but I would say it was convincing in the way, because at times it really, the intensity was not there. Guys like Williams took ownership and stepped up the intensity and, you know, quick taps, that kind of thing. So I can't even, you look at the scoreline. They put these guys away. These guys, it looked like a training match.
Look, they did put them away, and like, yeah, you're right. You say it looked like a training match, and that's why, like, even for me, that's why I say it's unconvincing, you know, because there's just too many errors, too much stop start. You know,
They can't choose who they play against. They're playing against a pub team.
No, but I mean, even some of the execution was the Sharks. It was errors from the Sharks guys. You know, just pushing the pass, that extra pass, or forcing the issue. You know, whereas it's just, you know, sometimes you just got to play that patient game. You can see what they're trying to do. I won't lie. You can see what they're trying to do is in terms of bowling play. You know, they're trying to play more with the ball, but advantage line, you know, fine. Advantage line, guys like Conero, they're getting them over the advantage line, you know, and that's key for them, is once they get over the advantage line. But you still want to see, they're not quite there yet, you know, but you still want to see a smoother sort of, a clearer sort of game from them, you know, whereas like you saw when Grant Williams, like you said, you know, he just took charge, you know, and said, okay, right, this is how we're gonna do it, you know, and and yeah, they got the result, but for me, it's still unconvincing. That's all I'll say, you know. That's all I say. I'm not convinced still. No, like we said, it's 1 week on, 1 week off, so they're not consistent. So it's
but they were on this week. They were on this week. I have to say they were on this week.
It's like ESCOM.
Yeah, it was a good week. No load shedding this week. Mabesere, it was his first game. Good start. I think he was heavily involved, you know, got a turnover. I think that led to that quick tap in the Sharks' own 22. You've got, I thought the handling did go well at times. Set piece, scoring from set piece tries.
Yes.
There was one from the line out, and then there was that other short arm move. There's
good moments.
As a coach, if my set piece is coming off, we're scoring tries from set pieces, I can say, okay, Ral is playing okay. Mavesera brought him in, he's playing okay. Things, he's on form. The only problem is, it seems like when one Bok is on form, the rest of them aren't on form. So, you know, you've got to try and piece that thing together to when they all are on form. It seems like the only guy that's consistent there in terms of Boks is Williams.
Yeah. Look, you're right, Quarters. I think I am being a bit too harsh because, you know, I expect more, you know, from the Sharks because, you know, like they say, money can't buy you happiness, you know. So you know, at the moment, the money is not buying.
But it can buy you more players and more players and more players and more players. And I think, to be honest with you, if we have a deeper conversation about the Sharks, it looks like a bit of a cultural issue because coach changes, there's still a problem. So if the coach changes and there's still a problem, then there's one common denominator there to say it's the players. It's not the coach, it's the players. So maybe that is the solution, in that you need to get some of those old guys out, get some new
Yeah,
guys in who are on your side, who buy into what you're trying to do. We can
yeah,
all point fingers and say what and what, but we're not there. We don't know who it is. There's a culprit
yeah.
somewhere there, but we don't know who it is.
We don't know who it
We
is.
don't
Yeah,
know who
exactly.
we don't know who. I'm sure there's guys there that they're also, the new box, Esabeth and Bonambi. You think about bringing guys like that in, they're going to be on your side. They're going to be on the
Um,
coach's side. They've probably bought in. It's the guys that are already there that
yeah,
have these bad habits that you
yeah,
you have to think, I've got to let some guys go, bring in new guys. And then there's the other school of thought that some of the players just aren't good enough.
yeah. I still think. Look, I'd like to. I'm not too sure what's going on with Masugu there. Hopefully, I think I'd like to see him at 10. If he's fit.
Yeah.
To see a different game driver. That's what I would like to see. Not to look. We can do the best that we can with what we've got. At 10. But yeah, look, they're not where they want to be, and yes, granted, they're still going to be a lot of musical chairs. I think, the
Yeah.
Sharks, until they find that right mix, that right balance. But there are some shining lights there where you can see that, look, but there's definitely the potential is there. What's frustrating is that it's just that lack of consistency, and in terms of the team that they can be. And I just think, like you say, some guys, they gotta go. And the countdown has been, for me. If they need to start that countdown, and start letting guys, let them go. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know which side it falls on, if it's a cultural thing or certain guys aren't good enough. But I mean, you think about certain players at other unions. You've seen guys leave the Sharks and do well in other
Mm,
places. So then it
mm.
goes back to that thing of maybe these guys are good enough. It's just the
The
environment that they're
environment
in. But
can be.
alas, we'll see. Although that prop they brought
Look, we'll
in,
take
the
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 win.
power lifter, that guy, he must go immediately. They must cancel that contract. But anyway, let's move on. Stormers versus Sale. What did you think about it?
Look, Stormers at home are always going to be difficult, with the crowd there. Sale definitely came to play. They
Yeah.
wanted, they definitely came to play. I think it was just, that individual brilliance from the Stormers. Okay, fine. Also, Sale, the Stormers gifted them a few points there, easy ones. You
But
know,
that's the thing about the Stormers is they get into a position of control in the game. They build a lead. Then they start to play loose. Guys start
mm,
to play how they see it.
mm,
Guys start to know, let's jam, let's jam. Throwing passes to Haaland, say, Haaland, what can you do? Guys, they're playing
yeah,
touch at times. Then Sale are serious. They're like, no, let's creep back into
yeah.
this game. So they get the points. And then what happens? They just switch on again and put them away.
Yeah, yeah, because the Sale did hang in there, definitely, and
Yeah.
they
They look like
they
they're gonna
did they,
steal it.
yeah, it did almost look like they were gonna do a smash and grab there, but Stormers, I think, at the end of the day, just the had too much for them at home. They got the guys. Yeah, it's just. I think it was just interesting in terms of the scrums. Where one time it's Sale looked like they were on top from a referee's point of view, and then all of a sudden it's the Stormers. So there's a lot of those momentum shifts, and like you say, they build that lead, they switch off and let teams back in. And
Yeah.
you can't help but think, they won't survive too long if they're going to carry on in that fashion. Because they're going to come across a team that's going to say, oh, okay, you're leaving the door open.
Yeah.
So, they're going to just kick it down and take it away from them. And yeah, but overall, I think they'll be happy, in terms of
Yeah.
getting the result. I think you wouldn't be too disappointed. A few maybe issues, from a defensive point of view, like I say, just easy points giving away, but overall good control when they have it.
Yeah. Especially in attack. Manu was playing very, very flat and on the game line, and especially you look at some of their tries, the handling that they do on the game line is
Yeah,
just it's amazing. The guys have those skills.
they
They
do. They do. And I mean, there's guys like, even we're talking about hookers earlier, Andrew Hugo Fent, I think in the past few weeks, he's been, he's
yeah.
also been stepping up, he cut his hair and all of a sudden, he's a different kind of player. I think he's also acclimatized to that senior level as well,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think, look, it'd just be interesting to see how they continue. You see Hartenberg there at 13.
Him again, I will say Hartenberg at 13, I've never been a fan. I don't think he can make defensive reads at 13, although he did show with that charge down that his
Yeah,
weakness might be becoming his strength.
yeah,
He put the pressure and he made the right read. So we'll see. And he's also got Similani breathing down his neck for that position.
yeah, yeah. But I think, look, I think they're okay, in terms of what they got, in terms of how they want to play. I think Stormers, they're playing for each other. Definitely, you can see it there. They've got a good thing going there. It's just that they
Mm.
this thing of theirs where it's in games on and off. They need to tighten up on that, and not be too loose. Otherwise, they'll come across like I still say, they won't get away with it for too long.
Yeah, and then performances you have to highlight. I think Herschel was good. He had a nice short side play there
Yeah, I could
for
see
the
that.
Zaz try, where,
Mm.
if we are constantly criticizing, we must also acknowledge when the guy does well.
Yeah,
And Daimani, of course, man of the match.
yeah, yeah,
He said in an article, I've been up and coming for 8 years. It's a joke now. He needs to get involved in the trenches. That's where his weakness as a loose forward is those short meters, those tight meters. But
yeah.
the long meters, he's making them. He's making the breaks. He's here's the thing. For me, in terms of Daimani box shouts, I've never
Hmm.
really been a believer. But you see a performance like this, and you have to be a believer. You have to, it changes your mind to the type of player. And you're saying, okay, he can step up and do it.
Yeah, I think he can, and I think even in the trenches he can. In
Yeah,
close, because of that step. And granted, as much as you can see how teams they targeting his legs because they know that he's got a dangerous step, especially at close quarters, he can beat one or two guys very easily and get those short meters that can turn into long meters. So I think it's well worth entertaining the idea to see,
yeah,
because if the Bok game plan does evolve, continue to evolve in that fashion, who's to say you can't have a loose forward that can be threatening like
yeah,
that, that can cut a team apart to makes a break. So yeah, you have to, and he's been consistent. That's the one
yeah,
thing that he has been doing. He's been consistent in the way that he's been playing, and yeah, fine, a few little decision making, but come on, he's becoming that guy for them, and
yeah,
when he's not there, you can actually see that there's something missing from the Stormers, especially on attack. But he also equally works as hard on defense as well, so yeah, you have to say, it's a strong case for him.
I'm on board now. I'm on board. I need to buy a
the
pair of the shoes now. I'm on board.
the hibachi,
Must
get them
show our
hibachis.
support.
Yeah, gotta show support, and then there's a Cheetahs game as well.
Yeah, that
Look at
one
that.
you'll have to fill me in. Unfortunately, I was all
What?
rugbyed out by then.
Yeah, look, I was also getting a bit rugbyed out, but I think, yeah, just a bit unlucky, from a I think missing points of the tee. That also contributed to them not getting the result. Um, you can see they learned their lessons from the last time that they played the Cheetahs, and they wanted to hit them hard with that intensity. Questionable defense early on. Within the centers there, the Cheetahs, but overall, I think they're still a good side. It was just disappointing that they didn't get a result at the new home. interestingly in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, so yeah, but that's a discussion for another day, why the Orange Free State team went to the Netherlands. But
You got
okay.
the ties there. There's some homeland ties there.
Yeah, but okay, let's leave that one alone, but overall, I think from a South African rugby perspective, I think good results, and I
Yeah.
think we're in a good space, from a SA rugby point of view. We just need to get those away wins. That's for me what's going to be crucial, because there's a lot of away games this coming weekend.
Yeah, those games, I think Bulls versus Bordeaux, you've got
Yeah.
Stormers, Stade Français, the other
Mm.
competition. I don't know if you've got the fixtures there.
Yeah, so Bulls at home. So look, Bulls at Loftus. We know, it's Loftus. So yeah, Stormers are away to start France. So I think that one is going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be a tough one for the Stormers, over there. And Lions at home this weekend to Ospreys. So I think the Lions, they can get the result.
Yeah, that's a W.
I think they'll get the results. Then Sharks away to the Dragons. I think this is for the Sharks. If they can get this win away from home, it'll do them good. For going forward in the season. So we just hope that the lights are on for them this coming weekend. The Cheetahs as well. They're also in action on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
They should beat them. If the Sharks beat them like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Cheetahs should get a result. I mean, they've got guys there, Mafura and them. They can play. They've got attacking. Cheetahs always,
the talent is there. The talent is there, and also
Cheetahs always there. So.
It's not so much travel. It's Oyonnax that has to go back them shorter flights.
Yes.
So hopefully that will work in their favor as well.
Yeah. So Bulls, like I said, they just need 1 point, I think, to make it through. I think the Stormers, they're in a tight position in terms of their log, their pool position. It's anyone can make it into the round of 16 in their pool. So yeah, I think it's an important weekend, especially I think more for the Stormers. Bulls, I'm expecting a win, and Stormers, important weekend. Sharks, they got to back it up, that's what it is.
Closing remarks, Chris.
Oh no, look, we're back. It's the new year, and now and we don't accept any mediocrity here, so going forward, we want to see better. We want to see better away wins. The Sharks doing better. That's all that I want. That's my wish for 2024.
Yeah, that's a good wish. And guys, thanks for watching. You can follow us. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We're all there. We must share this rugby content this year, guys. Thanks for watching.
We're just sharing our opinions here, man.
Our vital opinions. Thanks for watching.